Hi guys, TwinklePhoenix here with another Financial Treasure Island episode. In this one I'm going to reveal some more truth or facts and some stuff you probably didn't know. Today's character we're going to take a look at is Slester. Now, as we're aware, Slester has yet to appear in the demos, but apparently a couple of people have told me he appears in the demo of the original and has a jump scare. So, what do we know about Slester? Well, for those who don't know who the character of Slester is, let me try to elaborate you with like a really short backdrop story for the little guy, how he came to be and where his name came from. So the unknown white figure, the white figure as she was originally called, actually went through a couple of name changes, and one of the names that she was given was Slester due to a fan poll that was made, and lots of people agreed they liked the name, so they voted on Slester, meaning Slender Sister. Unfortunately, this didn't go down well with a couple of people who just didn't like the name and requested for it to be changed. Thus her name became God. And then a lot more drama happened with that name, but let's not go there, because this is a game, it's meant for fun. It has nothing to do with religion, or so on and so forth. Anyway, not the point. But Matthew liked the name Slester so much that he decided he would go ahead and make a character and call it Slester instead. So we waited and waited, and as more and more updates and new teasers and new stuff came out, eventually Matthew posted a distorted image up on his DeviantArt that had a cryptic message, and when you unscrambled it, it revealed the name Slester. This odd little character here, who I said looks like a weird jelly bean baby with spikes in him, was called Slester. Not much was known about Slester, only where his name came from. Loads of people were intrigued in seeing what Slester's purpose would have been in the story. Now, I'm not really sure what Matthew had planned for Slester. We did know some stuff about him, but when the game was handed off, obviously, to Superior Sinners, the team had to go back through everything and see what they could do with the story. Because again, they didn't have all the nights. They weren't given everything completed. They were given some stuff, and they had to work with what they had. Now, during the time of that development, I was also talking closely with Purity Sin and the other members of the dev team, because at the time I was working on the comic that would go with the game to explain the story. So Purity Sin was working with me on that. And one day, out of the blue, as I was working on the comic, I woke up one morning and I was told I had to change a lot of stuff. Backdrops had to go, characters had to change, I had to remove photo negative Mickey, remove photo negative Minnie, and I had to remove a couple of other things. And I just sat there going, okay. And it took me quite some time to change everything. I mean, told like right the next morning, as I just got up. But one character had to be completely scrapped because he couldn't work with the story. You see, Slester here is quite an unusual character, and unfortunately, no matter how hard the dev team tried, they couldn't get him to work with the story. He wasn't the same as the other characters, making it more difficult to actually make him fit in. So, after hours of talks and several ideas, with nothing working, regrettably the dev team had to pull Slester and make another character to replace him. So, unfortunately, as I said, the dev team did try really hard, and I also talked to them and gave them a few ideas, but none of them were really working with the story, and regrettably Slester had to be removed altogether. But that's not to say he wouldn't have returned back as an Easter egg or anything, or that he wouldn't have returned in like the following game, where he could actually probably work in it. But unfortunately we'll never get to know the true fate of Slester, only that he wouldn't have appeared in the original full game. Unless he popped up as an Easter egg, but again, I couldn't really confirm if he popped up as an Easter egg in general. But then again, there is a tea party of heads in one room along with a weird tiki head thing that's actually from Nights to Remember, isn't it? So yeah, it's still possible he could have popped up as an Easter egg, but I've yet to see him. I don't think the characters like me that much. I don't know what their problem is, but they don't seem to like me. So yeah, unfortunately that was Slester's fate for the original full game. Again, I'm still not saying he wouldn't have popped up as an Easter egg, and there was a really high chance he could have popped up in the following game, but he had to be pulled regardless. The team did try extremely hard, and I do admire them for trying as hard as they did to try and get him to like work into the story, but he just wouldn't work. So for everyone telling me there is a jump scare, Slester does pop up in the original game by the Purity Sinners. I have not found him, and I have played that game several times. And several times I've had to sit back while those goddamn heads have a tea party and don't invite me. Not to mention, Winnie is extremely rude for a little mouse, interrupting me constantly when I'm talking. Still don't blame him for the removal of Photonegative Mickey or replacing him or anything, 'cause again, he was just wrong. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, yes. But I am glad to confirm one thing, that Slester was loved so much by many people out there that they did arm into the game. So I'm excited to see what you guys have done with Slester. If he's got jump scare, what he does, how big he is, if he makes any sounds. Because again, I haven't looked at many other fan games yet, but I am interested in seeing what other people have done with him. Right then, that's all I've got to say about Slester. The little weird jelly bean voodoo thingy. I'm not even really sure what he was meant to be in the first place. And I don't think Matthew really told us much about Slester, only that he was called Slester, so he could have been anything. So yeah, that's all for this episode. See you guys next time in more Finding Treasure Island. And before anybody asks, yes, I think I will actually show you guys what I did with Slester originally in the story. Anyway, bye guys, till next time.